It ain't nothing but a game they playing, man. Watch this. Look at these white talk show folks. All their racism comes out now aimed at the president. Okay? All of it come out. Good morning, Joe. He ain't nothing but a filthy, no good, racist cracker. Okay? But they play the game and they play the game and they play the game, and then the first time they get a door open, they come in there and talk all that crazy talk. Now let's look at let's take our time and look at Paris for a minute. You know, first, the French is more anti-Semitic than Hitler could have ever been. Okay, it's a game they play. Okay, now let's go back to Friday. You had a soccer game that was probably the most important game this year. Okay, you had France and Germany. Okay, you had 80,000 people that then bought tickets. Now let me tell you what that means. It don't mean nothing to Americans, huh? Because they talk about football. They don't even understand football. Look at the last game, Super Bowl game. Okay, here they're on the half-inch line. I mean, it's such a short distance. They ain't got nothing electronic can measure. There's no time. All the time out. You got a Negro can outrun God with a ball, and they throw it to a white boy and lose. Nobody won't say that game was 6. Y'all crazy? No. Nobody gonna say that game was 6. And so you stop and you think about, in order for them, and Carl, you would know this with your technical background, when you're gonna send a game out as big as that game was Friday, it's going around the world. It's billions of people going to look at it, okay? Billions of people going to look at it. Do you know them technologists, them technicians was in there 2 months before the game, setting up all the... It's like the Academy Award. That's a small crowd there compared to 1 billion people looking at it around the world. So you got those folk coming there rehearsing. You got the best people in broadcast with that network. Because that's a multi-billion-dollar hustle. Now, I'm saying that to say this. You got all them cameras there, and we ain't seen nobody get shot, huh, in the stadium, huh? You got 80,000 people in the stadium, and you got 5 people get shot. You got a concert with 15,000 people, not 80,000. And almost 150 people get killed, and nobody says, wait, what kind of terrorists is these, huh? What kind of fools are we looking at? Terrorism says this, to terrorize the whole planet, okay? For a minute, let's skip and go to because what I saw at the Boston Marathon, I saw in Paris. Look, the Boston Marathon, the first bomb didn't go off till 2.5 hours after the finish. It didn't there. Now, if I'm a terrorist, why not shoot it off the first 2 hours when there couldn't have been no more marathons in the world? Because all the marathon folks would have been dead. So who are these folks, huh, that go out of their way to see to it that nobody get injured or killed in Boston but the pipsqueaks, the people that comes in 2 hours or less? So then when you look at that, in Boston, I ran the Boston Marathon 5 times, okay? If you want to kill somebody at the Boston Marathon, you don't do it at the end of the race. You go 45 miles outside of town where they start. And if your son was running the Boston Marathon, you would come in town into Boston, and we'd have a party, man. We'd go up there to see him off, because it's a fun weekend, huh? And while he's asleep and getting ready, we out partying, man. Well, you wouldn't be. You'd probably be in the room next to him. You don't party. So what I'm saying is, so the next morning, huh, there is 50 to 60,000 people out there at the start. Why? Because it's just not you, your wife, and your son. Your friends is there with you, man. We there cheering you on because it's a party weekend. It's a holiday weekend. Okay? Now, how come they didn't go out there and blow that up? Huh? You talking about scaring people. Why didn't you blow it up at the start? Huh? You wait till 2 hours after all the good runners come in, and then you blow it up. There's another thing we watch, Colm. We looked at that could have been a decoy to blow up the Plymouth nuclear plant, which is 46 miles from Boston. Okay? So I called my people. I said, here, do me a favor. When did they close down the nuclear plant? Well, if the thing happened on Monday and nobody knew it, then you close it down in case it's a decoy. They closed the nuclear plant down on Saturday. Huh? The race wasn't till Monday. Huh? So when you start looking at it, you start seeing things that don't make sense. Now you ready for the bomb? Huh? You ready for the bomb? When it started
hold it right there. Hold that bomb right there. We're going to step aside for a couple of announcements. I'll let you drop it on the other side. Folks, you can speak to D.Gregory. Reach out to us at 800-450-7876. We'll take your phone calls after the short break on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Hey, listen, next time you're hungry, stop by Tori's Restaurant. That's right, Northwest V Street and Georgia Avenue, right across the street from Howard University Hospital. Tori's Restaurant. Tori's Restaurant. Now, if you like good food, then this is where you need to be. Tori's Restaurant. They got breakfast all day, low country cuisine, also lump crab cakes, short ribs, and a whole lot more. And they got this daily special. Mondays, Ask the Chef Day. Wednesday, beef liver with onions and gravy. Thursday, meatloaf with gravy. Friday, fried whiting with hush puppies. 2 sides, bread, iced tea, lemonade, or mix. Ask about our catering service, too. Call ahead for carryout. 202-462-3700. Tori's Restaurant, 700 V Street at Georgia Avenue, Northwest D.C. Right in front of Howard University Hospital. That's Tori's Restaurant, 202-462-3700.
For all of you who are inspired to create your own unique holiday cards and gifts.
For all of you, there's Vistaprint.com. At Vistaprint.com, creating personalized holiday cards is simple. Choose from hundreds of designs and add your own photos and special messages. Right now, all quantities, styles, sizes, and stocks are 50% off. Plus, Vistaprint's collection of personalized one-of-a-kind gifts is also up to 50% off. Hurry, offer ends soon. To get this incredible deal, go to Vistaprint.com and enter code CARD50 at checkout. Vistaprint.com, code CARD50.
Reproductive cancers such as cervical, ovarian, and uterine cancer strike 98,000 American women each year. Black women are nearly twice as likely to die from cervical cancer despite progress in recent years. The Foundation for Women's Cancer urges women to learn the symptoms, listen to your bodies, and act by seeking care from a specialist for the best outcomes. Love your lady parts. Visit foundationforwomenscancer.org.
Real Talk Radio in the AM.
The #1 morning show. #1 on everybody's list.
Carl Nelson on 1450 WOL.
I think this thing with this, folks, 24 after the hour with D.Gregory, and before we left, Greg was comparing what happened at the Boston Marathon and what happened in Paris. It was a big game, soccer game, Germany and France playing 80,000 people in that arena, but yet still most of the damage was done at a nightclub. Greg, I'm going to let you drop the bomb that you were going to deliver on us.
Well, first, we're saying if you go back to the Boston Marathon, after everything kind of cooled down, they sent 2 FBI agents in there from Washington, D.C. And they went through about 5 or 6, maybe 10 little towns. So you had the police chief talking, you had this talking, you had this talking. But wait a minute. If you look at things, when they killed Betty Shabazz, they thought she was dying that night. They didn't know she was going to linger in the hospital. Well, my baby son was the financial analyst for the city of New York, okay? And he went there and sit with her at that hospital and did all of his work of running the money thing from there. Well, Betty did not live in New York City. Did you know that?
No, she lived outside the city?
Huh?
She lived in Westchester, right? Westchester County?
Westchester County. Then why did they bring her to New York? Why did you see the New York police chief talking? Why did you see the New York talking? Because ain't nobody ever heard of that little town, Mount Vernon. So it gave it credibility when they covered up this crap, okay? It gave it credibility when they covered up the thing. You got this old jive police chief there now. They ran him out of you got to be real bad and nasty to get run out of L.A. as vicious as that police department is. Let me tell you what happened. 4 days later, they found a bloody shirt in Michael Jackson's room. Now, that place should have been cursed. Then they discovered that it was $400,000 in jewelry and stuff. He got fired, man. And now he's in New York talking all that old crazy talk, okay? And so I'm saying this to say, so let's go back to the Boston. So they got the FBI in there who's running the whole thing. You can't talk to nobody until you get clearance from them. After the investigation's over, they come back to Washington, D.C. 2 weeks later, they killed. Now, they said they died in a helicopter crash. This goes on all the time. All the time. And they're so busy covering up the press and all of them and all that crap they doing. Now you go back to Ferguson, huh? And when when he's coming out of that cigar store and he's pushing that little midget guard, if you look at that picture, y'all can pull it up now, he got on flip-flops and short pants. 15 minutes later, he laying out there dead with long pants and Nikes on. You mean nobody in the press in America saw that? And if you looked around, you saw the cop out there for 4 hours standing over on the side. You didn't see no ambulances coming. And nobody's asking this question. How can you lay on the ground for 4 hours and a half hours and the whole world's looking at you and no ambulances showed up, huh? And then all at once, 2 days later, when I went in there on the second day, I pulled all my people out and told Martin King and them, man, y'all get out of here. Joe Madison, get out of here. Something's not right. He said, what do you mean? I said, his partner, okay? His partner, who told the world that his hands was up. Nobody is telling me why he's under witness protection. That was not a federal crime. Why is he being protected by the federal government? Okay? And he was under witness protection. Now, what they don't tell you, huh? When you there, I've never seen anything like it in my life, man. The festivities. I said, man, something ain't right about this. Now, I'm not talking about negative. I'm saying something is not right about this here because they demonstrating 24 hours a day. Fathers and mothers got their children in the car with them tops float back. And I didn't realize then it was division, oppression that they had gone through. That's what they was being relieved of. That's what it was. Now everybody know. All day long, they demonstrating in their cars and everything. Everybody know the violence don't start until after 8 o'clock. So why did the prosecutor pick to release the grand jury results after 8 o'clock at night? Huh? He had all day to do that. Now, here's what happened. When he said, the prosecutor, and y'all can get the documents online, he said, an African-American who's respected in the black community, he changed his story. He said he lied. Who was that? That was the brother that said he had his hands up. He says to the grand jury, he lied. He didn't have his hands up. If I would have just been an ordinary black sitting on the ground, I would have let that cop go too. Okay? And so when you sit and you stop and you think about what to do, and that night, 2 blocks from where the brother was gunned down by the cop, his best friend, Johnson's best friend, who said his hands up, he was brutally murdered. And I'm shocked how the Washington Post, you thought you was reading something back in the 40s about a lynching. He was shot beat up, and thrown in a car, and the car set on fire. Okay? Now, we sitting here, we looking at all this other stuff. Nobody's saying, wait a minute, hold it, something's not right about this. And so when you start looking and you follow it up and you look at it again, in Baltimore, do you know in the history of the riots between black folks and the cops, do you know that's the first police chief that got fired? This black man? And nowhere in America had there been riots and the police chief get fired. Okay? Then
so Greg, you're saying all of that, it points to some suspicion of what went on in Paris?
Yeah, because it's the same pattern. Listen, let me tell you something. If you're in an airplane and you flying it, and you're doing 700 miles an hour, the World Trade Building look like a toothpick to you. Now, you telling me these punks ain't never flew a plane in their life. They went to simulation school in Florida. You know who owns the simulation school? Buffett, okay? Warren Buffett owns the simulation school. I know that, and New York Times don't know that, huh? I mean, not one paper, not one newspaper. When the World Trade Building was hit, Willie Brown, the mayor of San Francisco, he was told that Friday, don't go to that meeting in New York on Tuesday. Did you know that?
Right, it came in the paper.
No, let me tell you something. I'll tell you how later it came out. On September the 11th, on September the 12th, it was in the San Francisco Chronicle, okay, the next day, that he was told not to go. Now, I get on the phone and find out Condoleezza Rice told him, huh? Then that Friday, that the hit was Tuesday, that Friday, the San Francisco Chronicle said the ex-Secretary of State, Dick Schultz, Dick Schultz, did an interview with him on Friday where he said he was told by his friends, okay, in the State Department about this meeting. They was don't go, okay? Now, all you got to do is punch up one of the credible, ain't no paper in America credible, just punch up the San Francisco Chronicle. Nobody else ran the story. L.A. Times didn't run the story. And that's what this is about. But we sit here, and because them white boys tell us all that crap they do on TV with the lies and stuff, that nobody thinks. Now, we know that bin Laden was killed in December 01. So this stuff they was looking at the White House, we got him, the Navy SEALs. Now, they talked about the 6 Navy SEALs, but it was 29 people. I'll tell you when you come back.
Yeah, hold that thought right there. We have a news update coming in. We got some people who want to speak to you as well. 800-450-7876. You can join the dialogue with D.Gregory. Reach out to us. We'll take your phone calls after this news update on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Good morning, I'm Mike Fortier. Here's the latest from News1.com, brought to you in part by the American Association for Cancer Research. The American Association for Cancer Research, finding cures together. Please support cancer research by donating today at www.aacrfoundation.org. A new report shows hate crimes in D.C. are often motivated by gender identity. The D.C.ist reports on statistics from the FBI that show the district had 70 hate crime incidents in 2014. More than 40% were motivated by bias toward the victim's sexual orientation or gender identity. The number is a stark departure from the nationwide trend. Nationwide, just 19% of hate crimes last year are motivated by gender or sexual bias. Mayor Muriel Bowser fulfilling some of her inaugural promises to listen to the neglected neighborhoods of Southeast D.C. with the opening of a new outpost office. Deputy Mayor for Public Safety Kevin Donahue setting up shop at a new Anacostia office starting today. Donahue's role will be to focus on economic and job development in the area where poverty and unemployment are higher than anywhere else in the city. The Secret Service officer charged in a Delaware sexting case due back in federal court Thursday for a detention hearing. Lee Robert Moore of Maryland accused of sending explicit photos to a Delaware detective posing as a 14-year-old girl. Moore making an initial court appearance yesterday in the federal charge of transfer of obscene material to a minor. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan says he's cancer-free. Hogan making the announcement yesterday after undergoing a scan at the University of Maryland Medical Center in Baltimore.
I'm very thankful to be able to report that incredibly, as of today, I am 100% cancer-free and in complete remission.
Hogan battling non-Hodgkin's lymphoma for months. He says he'll continue to undergo tests. This report brought to you in part by the Foundation for a Better Life. Winston Churchill's words stirred his country in the face of defeat. Today they inspire us to reach for our own victories. Commitment, pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. I'm Mike Fortier. When you're looking for news for Black America, go to news1.com.
Good morning. This traffic update is brought to you by Unbound. We'll start with an accident on the freeway eastbound in Southwest at Main Avenue. Looks like it's lane crowding with the activity on both shoulders now, so your delays start from the 14th Street Bridge. DC 295 heavy going down to Southeast from Eastern to Pennsylvania Avenue, and off and on delays Suitland Parkway inbound after Silver Hill Road to Stanton Road. Unbound sponsorship fights poverty by strengthening human connections and nurturing interdependency. That's just one way Unbound is different. Learn more at unbound.org. This weather update is brought to you by Compassion International. Every child deserves enough. That's what you can give to a child in poverty when you sponsor through Compassion International. Find out how at compassion.com/radio. Today, cooler with a mix of clouds and sun. Highs reaching the mid-60s. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Lows near 50. Right now, partly sunny skies and 48 degrees. I'm Tony Thornton for News Talk 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Your voice can now be heard. Y'all ready? Yeah. With Carl Nelson weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on 1450 WOL.
I don't understand this, folks. 23 away from the top of the hour with the social activist D.Gregory. He's giving us some reasons why he thinks what we saw in Paris wasn't the real deal. Greg, I'm going to let you finish up what you're saying, and we got some folks who want to speak to you.
When you sit and you look at, what happened, all of them the same pattern. You go back to the riots in Baltimore. They said, remember they told these are black high school students. These ain't dropouts. They go into the they go into the drugstore and they go back and they're stealing drugs out the pharmacists. Let me tell you something. None of you all listening to me that's ever had a prescription filled, you take it to the pharmacist. The pharmacist got to open up different drawers. They don't know where the stuff is, There's a federal law. All drugs in the pharmacist have to be on a lock or key. How them little punks know where it was and know where the key was, okay? And then the next thing was, it was two drugstores there. At 9 o'clock that night, the security people called the pharmacist. Just another drugstore, and said, there's something going on in the place. So the pharmacists have to call the police. Insurance demand that he do that. Police didn't call him back to 12 o'clock the next day. Y'all crazy? 12 o'clock the next day. And so what I'm saying is, you sit and you look at it, it's the same pattern, So now we go and we look at the Navy SEALs. It was 6 that went up to the 3rd floor. There was 29 on the whole mission. The 6 Navy SEALs that went up to the 3rd floor and the one who said we shot him in the head, all 6 of them are dead when they got back here to America. I know that, and the New York Times don't know that, And out of the 29, about 2 weeks after, to almost a month, out of the 29, 27 of them were killed in plane wrecks and all of that. This is America. Y'all fixing to get what you deserve. It's right there. You look at it, and yet you still don't see it. Okay? And for those of you that punch up, sir, this never what I'm fixing to tell you now ran an American paper. The stuff that went on in South Carolina at the church. Now ask yourself a question. That church is where Juneteenth was invented. It's the 15th, 16th, and 17th. How that ignorant white boy know that if I do it on the 17th, that's the last day of Juneteenth festivities? How'd he know that? How'd he know black folks have church service on Wednesday? And any of y'all ever been, especially you white folks that listen, Any of y'all ever been to a Black Baptist church? You better not get too close to that preacher. You might die. Them deacons will wear you out because the closest they ever going to get to heaven is through the preacher. And they sitting there. Then they also told us the news story, and all you got to do is Google it. The story went out. The grandmother told her 6-year-old grandchild, play dead. Okay, that went out all over the world. Now, the grandmother's killed. So who told the world she told him that? The 6-year-old held a press conference? See, we cheat because we know what to look for when you see this. So I called the black newspaper down there. I said, what time did y'all, I already knew that the preacher's wife called the police at 9:10. Cops didn't get there till 11 o'clock that night. FBI got there 10 minutes after the call went out. Okay. All right. Now, I said, wait a minute. What do you mean? I mean, don't y'all get the same wire service that the white papers get there, the police block? He said, they didn't get it until 11 o'clock. So when you arm with certain facts and you got people that can check it out and prove it, then you start seeing strange stuff. Okay? And so what I'm saying is, so you take that, one of the weirdest things in September the 11th, that these little punks up in a plane, they ain't never flew a plane before, but 2 days later, they find one of them's driver's license. On the ground in New York City. No dirt, no smudge on it at all. But they found it. Now, right around the corner from the World Trade Building is a fire station. I don't know if it's number 7. They go to the World Trade Building every day, a minimum of 50 times, a maximum of 75. Why? Because the insurance, there's 55,000 people is in that building around 9 o'clock. By 1 o'clock, it goes into like 150,000 people. So if your smoke detector go out, you just can't put it in. You got to call the fire department, and from around the corner, 2 firefighters come in, and they change it. Every day of the year. Now, when the World Trade Building was blown up, 343 firefighters died, not counting the hundreds that was injured. Not one firefighter from around the corner that go there every day was injured or killed. Did they know something? That's what I'm saying. You look at patterns. Now, the other day in France, in Paris, all at once now they tell us that they found the driver's license and immigration papers. All at once, the same pattern. And so now you go to look, all you had to do if you're a serious terrorist, you're not going to be able to get in there. You're not going to be able to get into that place the way they searching you with all that stuff. But what happened? The terrorists that they claim detonated one of the bombs, that's whose driver's license they found. You mean he tore himself into smithereens, but the driver's license wasn't touched? I'd like to know what kind of material that was made out of, because I'm going to go get me a couple of suits made out of that. And so you sit and you look, and they feed the crap to you so fast. You busy looking. Where did the blood go? How they clean the blood up? Now let's go back to the church in South Carolina. 9 people murdered. That's what they said. Well, that was on the 17th. I'm sorry, the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. That's the Sunday. They was open up for Sunday service. Wait a minute. Forensics? You mean y'all had the blood cleaned up? Church is open for Sunday? Forensics? All that blood in that place? You don't know if he did it by himself or was more people? Nobody explains that because nobody even asked about it. And so that's what we're looking at there. All at once you saw the paper yesterday. Oh, one of the ringleaders, they had arrested right after and let him go. Oh, this is one of us. Did you see that story, Cole?
Yeah.
They let him go. He's the maddest thing going on the planet. And they let him go. Go back to South Carolina. Nobody ran this story in America. Huh? The Justice Department came in on the 19th. Now, the killing happened on the 17th. And gave the families $29 million. The story was fast track. Now, how you going to pull it up? Go to BBC. And then you ask yourself...
Actually, well, hang on a second, Greg. We got some people who want to talk to you as well.
Okay.
Interesting conversation. Dick Gregory connecting the dots here on different situations. 800-450-7876. Number to call. Speak to him and take your calls after this short break on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Are you hiring but not sure where to find the best candidates? As a business owner, I can tell you that your company is only as good as the people you hire. I can also tell you that posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. But when you're short-staffed, there's no time to deal with the dozens of different job sites. Until now, thanks to ZipRecruiter.com. I can post to 100-plus job sites with one single click and be instantly matched to candidates from over 4 million resumes. Just post once, and within 24 hours, watch your candidates roll into ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses, and you can try it right now for free. Getting the right people for your company is so important. Try ZipRecruiter and get your perfect candidate before they go to somebody else. Today, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. Again, ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
This is Barbara Arnwine. Be sure to tune in to Igniting Change every Tuesday from noon to 1 on WOL 1450 AM. I will provide provocative and empowering information to ignite change and inspire action in achieving racial justice and equality. It really is up to all of us to be and to ignite the change that we so desperately want to see in our neighborhoods, communities, our cities, our states, our nation, and the world. Each week I want you to join me and my special guests to learn how your activism matters in realizing a more just and equal society for all. Ignite change with me every Tuesday from 12 to 1 p.m. Together we can make a difference. Visit BarbaraArnwine.com for more information.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by AdoptUsKids.org.
Okay, here goes. I know more about cooking dinner for a party of 12 than I do about packing a lunch for a 12-year-old. I know kids like things like PB&J, pigs in a blanket. Oh, and fish sticks. They do love fish sticks. Fillets I get, but sticks? What part of the fish does the stick come from? I know I can read a cookbook that'll tell me how to make a red wine reduction, but where are the cookbooks that can teach me how to cut the crusts off bologna sandwiches? Oh, maybe we can compromise on mac and cheese. Can you make that with brie? Everybody likes brie, right?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to push your food around their plate. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit AdoptUsKids.org for more information. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ed Council.
Real Talk Radio in the AM. Carl Nelson on 1450 WOL.
I think the thing is, folks, 10 away from the top of the hour. Just remember, at the top of the hour, psychiatrist Dr. Francis West Wilson is going to join us. We're going to discuss about the black bourgeoisie, if you will. Can they identify with the urban struggle? And coming up later this week, Dr. Donna Murch, historian from Rutgers, is going to be with us. Also, Craig Hewlett's going to be here to talk about what's going on in Paris, what's going on in Syria and ISIS, and also the presidential race, and also the man with the plan. Dr. Claude Anderson is going to join us before we end up the week. 800-450-7876 to speak to Dick Gregory. Let's go to line 2. Hamed's been holding for a while in Virginia. Hamed, you still with us? Is Hamed there on line 2? I think Hamed gave up on us. Greg, so I want you to connect the dots to what happened in Paris. To all the things that you said, they're all suspicious. So you're not buying what we saw or what they're telling us went down in Paris. You mentioned about the driver's license and the immigration papers that somehow were intact after the bombing.
You know, outside of this country, there are people question, was the president even there at the soccer game? Huh? All at once, he left before the stuff came down. Nobody's seen him. Huh? And then what they do, they'll set up people call. It's like when the World Trade Building and they hit the Pentagon. Then you see them interviewing the cab driver, and he said, yes, the so. Wait a minute. How you know that's a cab driver or a CIA agent, huh? You hear me? Let me tell you what happened. The Pentagon, that plane hit it 6 feet off the ground. You can't have a plane of that size fly in and hit something that low to the ground. But let's say it did. So me and Kathy was doing the show at the time. So I told the group, I said, meet me at Joe Lewis's grave. Here's the number. I'm going to show you something. Okay? So we go. And we said, now, in order for that plane 6 feet off the ground, it had to come through Arlington Cemetery. Not one tree, not one lamppost is knocked down. Okay? Not one tree is knocked down. So they have witness already set up to tell you what they witnessed, what they saw. So
but Greg, if it went through Arlington, it couldn't have made it through Arlington Cemetery flying that low, could it?
Did you hear what I just said? Nah, folks haven't figured it out, huh? It's like all them killings in Chicago and they don't know Jeff Ford. We was very close. The boy couldn't read or write, huh? Okay? He ran the Black Pea Stone Nation. Did you know he was invited to Nixon's inauguration? Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
A little ignorant gang leader. Okay? Because what they was doing, you know, you used to hear the cops say we being outgunned. Remember? Mm-hmm. And the reason was the United States government knows that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, they'll be fighting a different type of war. There's new guns coming out, new bullets coming out. Now, how can we deal with this here? So that's your urban violence. So they'll go into a black hospital and they'll say, look, we would like to give you like $4 million for the hospital. We'd like to raise your top people's pay 20%. And we would like to integrate military doctors in with you. And so all at once now, I talked to Jeff. I said, when y'all making a trip forward? Oh, I think we got something going next week. What they do is they got these new guns, huh, that they're going to use, and they own a train. The train jumps a track in Carbondale, Illinois. Them little black punks is down there with their trucks to pick them up and bring them back in. And that's what they're using, okay? So they can get that experience of that. That's what's going on. You got black on black crime. What the hell is that? Who you think was killing Chinese in China tonight? Who do you think killed Italians in Italy, huh? And so when you sit and you look at it, and you say, wait, something's not right about this. So you keep looking. Here they got a concert going on that same night. 15,000 people at the concert. Almost 150 was killed. 80,000 people at the soccer game, and 5 people was killed. Huh? And not one major attraction that people go to Paris to see was hit. And then when you want to see the racism that comes out, when they blew up that in Africa, that shopping mall and killed damn near 400 people, ain't nobody put their flags at half-staff, huh? Nobody talked about all the crap they talking about now. And so if you sit up and you say, well, prove it to me. I don't care, because truth ain't never had to be validated by ignorance. And let me tell you the power you listeners have. Every day at 12 noon, you pray to that universal God. And that gets kind of strange, huh? You know, that gets kind of strange. Y'all pray to God because your mortgage is due, you about to be evicted. You mean the God that put the whole universe here didn't know your mortgage is due? What kind of fool is you? Huh? And so you pray to that I'm not talking about the Catholic Church or the Baptist Church. I'm talking about to that universal God. Just pray for a few minutes, not them old heavy prayers, and just pray to that universal God that the truth will come out and you see something happen in less than 2 weeks. That's the power.
Hang on a second, Greg. Brother Ayo is joining us online, too. He's on the road. He's in New Orleans. Got a question for you. Brother Ayo, you're on with D.Gregory.
Good morning, Brother Carl, Master Teacher. This is always a delight to have an opportunity to put a question in front of you. So let me get right to it.
Please do.
At the end of the month, the International Monetary Fund is going to downrate the American dollar from reserve status, world reserve status, and they're going to up the Chinese renminbi to the world reserve status. What do you think that's going to have on the economy, and how is it going to affect anybody that's receiving a subsidy from the United States government?
It can't have a worse effect than it's already having. You know, when the Americans that have they pension fund, the pension fund was run by J.P. Morgan Bank. The guy that ran it was named Jesse Lee. I do it after the drums.
All right. And thank you, Ayo. Ayo, and keep listening, because later this week, Craig Hughes will be on here. I know he's going to talk about that. 3 away from the top of the hour. As Greg mentioned, the Germans are telling us it's time for the traffic update. We'll take your calls next on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
This traffic update is brought to you by the American Association for Cancer Research. Police activity continues in Northwest this morning. Avoid the areas of KL and M Streets Northwest between 18th Street and 21st Street because of the barricade situation. In a loop jammed up now from just after the Springfield interchange as you head over toward Gallows Road. In a loop also slow from Branch Avenue to 295 as well as 95 now southbound from the ICC to the top of the Beltway. The American Association for Cancer Research, finding cures together. Please support cancer research by donating today at www.aacrfoundation.org. This weather update is brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Each day, more than 1.6 million Americans suffer with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America to help and to find cures at ccfa.org. Today, pleasant with sunshine, highs reaching the mid-60s. Right now, clear and 43 degrees. I'm Tony Thornton for News Talk 1450 WOL, where information is power.
What's wrong, Tina? Where are you coming from? I am just coming from the dealership, getting my Mercedes-Benz service. Do you know it cost me $500? $500? Girl, you should have gone to Magic Benz in Hyattsville. Their A services are only $250, and B services start at just $250. They are my premier specialists and have up to 40% off dealer prices and 100% satisfaction guarantee. But how did I miss this? But there's more. They offer professional services, tire replacement, balance and rotation, engine cooling system flush, body work for all Mercedes, and more. Their oil changes are only $99. Michelle, say no more. What's their info? It's Magic Benz at 4716 Baltimore Avenue, Hyattsville, Maryland. Their number is 301-985-2676, or go to their website at magicbenzservice.com. Thank me later. No, I am thanking you now.
When the need arises for a funeral repast or a place to hold a memorial service for your loved one, call the New Horizon Hall of Elegance, located at 2209 Varnum Street, Mount Rainier, Maryland. They will take the worry out of you having to handle one more detail, giving you time to focus on family and friends. Call 301-277-5922 to find out more. That's 301-277-5922. That's the New Horizon Hall of Elegance, ready to serve you in your time of need.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by adoptuskids.org.
Okay, here goes. I know more about cooking dinner for a party of 12 than I do about packing a lunch for a 12-year-old. I know kids like things like PB&J, pigs in a blanket. Oh, and fish sticks. They do love fish sticks. Fillets I get, but sticks? What part of the fish does the stick come from? I know I can read a cookbook that'll tell me how to make a red wine reduction, but where are the cookbooks that can teach me how to cut the crusts off bologna sandwiches? Oh, maybe we can compromise on mac and cheese. Can you make that with brie? Everybody likes brie, right?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to push your food around their plate. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit adoptuskids.org for more information. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
WOL Washington, WPRS HD2 Waldorf, WKYS HD2 Washington, WMMJ HD2 Bethesda, celebrating 35 years of service to the community, where information is power.
The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.
Welcome to the Carl Nelson Show
on Washington, D.C.'s 1450 WOL Radio and live around the world on WOLDCnews.com.
Let me distinguish this vote momentarily to speaking with psychiatrist Dr. Francis Wilson, but let's wrap up with D.Gregory. Greg, I'll let you finish responding to A.O. in New Orleans' question about the IMF.
So when you talk about the economy, it's a world thing. It's just there. So all your pension fund money was handled by the J.P. Morgan Bank. The number 2 man is the one that handled the pension fund. That's Jesse Lee. Okay? He had it in the Greek bank, which flopped. All that's gone. Okay? So all of this other turmoil stuff we look at have people's minds stay away from them. Now, when Jesse Lee, he did that with the good blessings of the real white boys. They killed him, 3 weeks ago. Said he fell off the treadmill, when he was doing his exercise. Okay? This is a game. And it's real game. See, white ain't a color. It's an attitude. And if you haven't got trillions of dollars in the bank, you can't have the attitude. Queen Elizabeth make $360 million every 24 hours, just interest on her money. So most of you folks just ain't never seen a real white person. And so consequently, when you sit and you look at that whole money piece, but you don't have to be smart. All you got to do is turn on TV and see serious white boys say, buy 1 suit, get 6 free. They just wiped out the shoplifter. And you hear that, you see that. And so consequently, this is what we looking at. The money thing is over. It's a trick, okay? And so consequently now they just trying to hold and push this back and turn this around, and they can't. That's why these white folks are sitting around meeting every day. Can we do this? What can we do to do this here? What can we do to do this here? And so consequently, when you sit and think about, Ben Carson, he's a black brain surgeon, and most black folks ain't never heard of him, okay? So you tell me these white folks, these religious Christian white folks that would kill God if they went to heaven and he was black, they ain't going to heaven. But these are the ones that love him so much, all at once now. No, white folks is scared. We don't know this. White folks is scared. You got white families, 3rd generation. When the child is born, they know it's going to Princeton, Harvard, or Yale. All at once now they're in community college. We don't see that because we don't see them. And then one day we're going to have to sit and think one of the most powerful black institutions, economic-wise, is Howard University. Who's Howard named after? General Howard, who became famous for killing Indian children. Okay? You go up to the biggest black woman school in the world. Okay? It's in Atlanta. Okay? Spelman. That's named after Rockefeller's wife. Rockefeller. All our major schools named after some white folks. And so that don't bother us because we don't see it. And so what I'm saying is, what the brother just asked is serious. Why do you think all these illegals, they call them, can work for these major white companies? You keep hearing that thug punk keep saying, I have thousands of Mexicans work for me, and all of them are legal, Let me tell you why the folks that hire them don't go to jail. When you get a job as an illegal Mexican, they take out Social Security. Did you know that, Carl? That you can never get back because you're not legal. So all you black folks and white folks sitting around talking that crap about the Mexicans, all they had to do, they wouldn't get it. They said, okay, we'll leave here. Give us our $3 trillion. Because if it wasn't for them putting that money in, which they can never get, you would have been ran out of your old age pension money. This is what this is about. And yet and still, y'all think y'all the greatest nation in the world? 3 weeks ago, the president signed a order buying a new jet from Lockheed. $80 billion. Okay? Now, you ain't never turned on TV and say, oh, send the money in here to help us buy this jet. But when it comes to veterans, every time you turn on the radio or TV, they begging for money for veterans. And veterans don't see that. And here's another serious question we should ask. When you think about America, with our hospitals, with all the money we spend for research, that's straight life, man. Then how come these soldiers come back home and they got all these syndromes and they kill people, they kill their family? How come the Vietnamese is not doing that, huh? How come they not kill? How come all them bombs going off in their head and their ear? How come they not wiping out family, huh? We got all this money over here, and the veterans is living in the street and all of that. You know what kind of fool you got to be? Have some rich white folks seeing you to war, and you don't even know the name of the city you in. You can't even spell it. And yet and still you come back here, and you got to wait 6 months. 6 months before you can get an appointment. That's what they think about that. Then they come here with Veterans Day and have you a parade and all that, and then nothing's going to happen.